What's going on, guys? My name is MrHurriicane, and today I have an NFL offseason talk video, and today I'm talking about Tavon Austin, wide receiver prospect out of West Virginia, a guy who soared up draft boards. I remember reading and watching a little bit on this guy when he was still a second-round prospect towards the end of the playoffs, and since then now, he's even come into consideration for the top 10, and if you don't know anything about Tavon Austin, he's a very quick, small, elusive receiver. At the Combine, he measured in at 5'8", 174 with a 4.3, 440, and he was extremely productive at West Virginia, especially this past year, where he had 114 catches, 1,289 yards, 12 touchdowns, and that's only in the air. He's a very versatile player as well. He can carry the ball as a running back, 72 carries, 643 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So when you see that versatility, you see the speed, he's a very attractive prospect, especially for the guys that love speed and the fast receivers. I love those guys as well. When the 2009 came around, I wanted Percy Harvin to come to Minnesota, and indeed he did. And before I dig deeper into this, guys, let me know what you think of Tavon Austin in the comment section and where you think he should be drafted. But back to Percy Harvin, look at the situation in Minnesota he was drafted into. Brett Favre wasn't there yet, but they had Adrian Peterson, Sidney Rice, and Bernard Berrian. And yes, Bernard Berrian was a terrible pickup for Minnesota, but they had the nucleus there. They had the outside threats. Sidney Rice is the tall physical guy, and Percy Harvin was a complementary addition to the offense to be a role player. And that's the same way I look at Tavon Austin. I want to see him drafted to a team where he complements and is not like the centerpiece. When Percy Harvin was all Minnesota had in the passing attack last year, I'll be straight up, it was nothing but a gimmick. That's it. That's everything it was. It was a gimmick. Once teams shut down Percy Harvin, the Vikings really couldn't throw the ball to anybody outside of Kyle Rudolph. And then they had Adrian Peterson, of course, but once you solved that one guy, then the offense was conquered. Now I wonder, what if the Vikings had Dwayne Bowe instead of Percy Harvin? Would that have been a better situation? Like, I think physical receivers on the outside are harder to stop than slot receivers. That's just my thought. But I want to see Tavon Austin drafted to a team where he complements, and I see these top 10 scouting reports, and I'm just like, no, I completely disagree, because the teams in the top 10, first off, they're there because they have very big needs. And the needs of the offensive lines in Detroit and Arizona outweigh the need for a complementary player like Tavon Austin. Otherwise, if they had solidified offensive lines, I would consider trading down from one of those two teams to pick up Tavon Austin to complement Fitzgerald or to complement Calvin Johnson. But as I look through the list, the first team I think that would be an acceptable pick for Tavon Austin to go to is number 13 overall, and that is Tampa Bay. They have Mike Williams and Vincent Jackson on the outside. Obviously, Doug Martin had a great year last year, and they have an inconsistent quarterback in Josh Freeman, but he would be a great fit for that offense, being the complement in the slot, but their defensive needs are very vast. They have definite needs in the secondary at cornerback. Safety's pretty solidified now, but then I go down. Carolina, maybe, but I would definitely look at defense instead. The Saints would be an interesting pick, but I think you go pass rush in that situation. And then St. Louis just lost Danny Amendola, and so you could immediately replace him with Tavon Austin if you wanted to. But once again, St. Louis and Minnesota are in the same boat. They need outside threats, and St. Louis has Chris Givens, Minnesota has Greg Jennings and Jarius Wright. Drafting Tavon Austin for either one of those teams, I don't think fits a need. It just adds to explosiveness on offense, most definitely, but both those teams definitely need outside receivers that can stretch the field, and Tavon Austin's a slot guy. So where is Tavon Austin going to be drafted? I follow Walter Football's mock drafts the most closely because they update pretty often, and they have two guys mainly that write and post their mocks. And right now they have Tavon Austin going to Buffalo, and another guy has him going to the New York Jets. And to me, the Buffalo pick is intriguing because they have C.J. Spiller, Scott Chandler, and Stevie Johnson. So I could see it working, but the quarterback situation there is still pretty big. And I think that if they choose Tavon Austin they're probably passing on Geno Smith in that situation. So it's how much do you value a player that maybe will only be a role player and complement your offense? I think Tavon Austin will be a good player in the NFL, but I think his best situation and best opportunity for success is going to be being the third option in an offense, probably. I don't think he's the guy you build your offense around, despite he's going to be a great talent for a team to pick up. But where do you guys think Tavon Austin should be drafted? Do you want your favorite team to pick him up? I'm a Vikings fan. I don't want them going anywhere near Tavon Austin because I want the deep threat. I'd rather have Justin Hunter personally, or DeAndre Hopkins. Well, I don't see Tavon Austin lasting past the mid-teens, to be honest. I think a team will trade up, or somebody will take him based on his potential and explosive playmaking ability. I will have my mock draft out on the 24th, the day before the NFL draft, and right now I have Tavon Austin slated to go number 13 overall to the Buccaneers because I have Xavier Rhodes going one pick before. And I don't know if I'd put Desmond Trufant at 13 overall yet, and this is also assuming they don't trade for Darrelle Revis and they keep the first-round pick, so it could definitely change, but right now I think Tampa Bay is a pretty good fit. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you later.